Well, hi everybody. Oh, it's a pretty good day, isn't it? It's a pretty good day. I got to be on Sheila's channel last Friday, and I think the first question out was if Chauvin was going to get convicted, and I wasn't even sure that he could on all three counts, but the cards were saying yeah on all three counts. So anyway, I guess I ought to apologize for not being back sooner, but I'm not. I went to the doctor on Monday and found out, I don't know, nothing bad, just that my bones need to be worked on because they're pretty thinning. And so I started on a new exercise regime and changed my diet around and went and got some extra stuff to add to my supplements until I get into the doctor, because I'm going to go to the doctor, I guess, and they're going to do something to help the bones get stronger. But I'm still going to get my knee replaced. She didn't want to slow that down. She said that the bone therapy and that works together. So what it did, it was pretty good actually, because it was a wake-up call to tell me to wake up, pay attention, and if I wanted to be mobile for the rest of my life, to start moving. You know, uh, something in motion stays in motion. What's that? There's even a scientific fact about that. And so I haven't been in motion enough lately. And I've known that. Plus, sorry, I needed to look at that because somebody was just scheduling an appointment and I wanted to make sure, because I'd already written it in my calendar. And by the way, if anybody else wants a reading, it's lynntarotreadings at gmail.com. Email me and I'll get right back to you with the information on how to do it. And please put your phone number in there. It's so much help. If you're really interested, put your phone number in that email and I'll get right back with you and we'll set up an appointment. And if not, it's harder, because then I have to email you back with my form letter and then ask for your phone number again or whatever. I put my phone numbers in there. But anyway, this just shortens the process and makes it so much easier to make appointments. So anyway, I hope you're all doing good, and I hope you all like that verdict as much as I did today. I was pretty pleased with it. And I spent the last day going over, everybody was nice enough, I said to send some questions for me to read on, and that I'd read on them no matter how weird they seemed to me, that I'd read on, just go down the line and start taking people's names and stuff. So that's pretty much what I did. Of course, some of you have to realize I can't read every question, but anyway, thank you for giving me some new ideas, but some of them were just, they're stuff I've read on before, but by you asking lets me know you're not going to be bored with hearing it again. Yeah, I guess my biggest fear in life is being boring. I don't know. Anyway, God bless y'all, and thank you for watching. And my name is Lynn, if it's your first time, and please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. And want to thank everybody for watching, and so let's go from there. And the first question down here I had written down was from a Tawn, T-A-W-N. That's how her email is, or whatever it is that comes in through those replies. And what she wants to know is, will Jim Jordan get kicked out or resign from Congress? Well, eventually he'll probably resign. I can't see if there's any future at all to our world that he would keep getting reelected over and over and over again, maybe for a while. But so there's no time frame on this. But so let's say, will Jim Jordan get kicked out or resign from Congress before the next presidential election? So that gives him a while. It gives him 4 years, but it's still, let's see what's going on there. So we're going to read on Jim Jordan. He's such a creepy person to even think about even reading on. He's just, he's so angry, or either pretends to be so angry, but nobody that can even pretend to be angry. One thing I noticed, remember, it was the first, probably nobody's old enough to remember Gomer Pyle or whatever, but the guy that screamed and hollered at him all the way through that series, he died real young of a heart attack. And remember how, and he was a great actor too, but the guy that played on All in the Family was always screaming and yelling and hollering. He died of a heart attack. It's amazing, even when people are just acting like they're angry enough to make the veins swell up in their neck and stuff, and carrying on and carrying on, it's sometimes I just wonder if getting angry all the time makes your health bad. So I'm not saying I want Jim Jordan to die of a heart attack. I would like to see him out of Congress, though. So let's see what's going on here. We know he's going to leave Congress eventually, but we're going to do this for in the next couple of years. So the first one across is going to be, is Jim Jordan going to leave Congress for any reason in the next couple of years? Let's try that. This is weird. This is a signifier. He might be in jail. He might not have no choice. He might leave Congress because he's in jail. So that could be. Looks like I got a lot of lights on around here. Maybe one too many. I'm always doing this, getting started and then noticing all the lights I've left on. Okay, so we got him here. We got him jailed. That's a signifier. So that doesn't mean that he's necessarily going to jail, although it could. But that could mean that he might have to leave because he feels he has no other choice. The influence over this is he thought that they had this push your way through fascist government going, and that Trump was backing him, and he was going to keep backing him, but he's going to lose some of his partners, so that's going to make him weak. So that's the obstacle for him staying in there. The foundation of this is the women celebrating. So that would be, I'm pretty sure if he left Congress, it's women that's celebrating, since he's a co-helper for child molestation. YouTube only. But that seems to be what's been in the news for the last 10 years. There might really be some woman. This is a yes card, and this refers to this reading and what's going on the present. So this is another yes card. I still think that may be his wife, if he has a wife, telling him that he needs to go. He's planned a strategy to get out of there if he has to already. He's planned a strategy. And try and figure out how he can get out of there with some money before he goes through it for maybe lawyers or something. He's just about decided that his magic is no longer there. That he can talk till his whole face explodes, and his magic is no longer there. And if he hasn't figured this out already, he's going to figure it out in the near future. And this is in the 7th house. This is his house. This is the house of this reading. And we asked if he was leaving Congress, and this is a definite yes, and this is like a yes the hard way. And this is the truth. And he never told the truth in his life, so this has to be the truth. Yes, he's leaving. I'm glad that. I'm always surprised. Yeah, his life is changing. With that fool in there, I'm going to think that he might pretend that it's his idea, that he's tired or sick or something. And that way, he thinks he can leave the victor. But this card is upside down. That's just his hopes and fears. He thinks he could cover that up if he leaves on his own. But we got the Chariot. So yeah, he's definitely leaving. I wish I would have just asked between the midterms, but it looks like he'll be out of there and gone before the next presidential election. And I'm hoping and praying that these cards are right, because I'd love to see him out of there and gone. And these cards are all different directions. I don't know how I got them turned so many different directions, but let's try setting them back up there straight. There is no straight form. I must have flipped some around when I was shuffling them. I cut them and reshuffled them and reshuffled them. I must have flipped some over. Anyway, we'll just do it this way. So I hope you're all doing good out there. I think I'm going to come back after I get through reading a little bit on politics, and I'm going to do... I had a couple of people ask me, one about Stonehenge and one about the pyramids. And I've never tried reading cards on them. I've done a lot of reading on it, especially the pyramids. I mean, I've done hours. I've read 15 books put out on the pyramids, besides all the Edgar Cayce stuff, so it'd be hard for me to read on them and not be prejudiced. But I think I'll come back and just do a reading on those, something a little lighter, not on politics. And if I can tell it quick enough, I might tell that story first and then read on the pyramids. I think that's what I'll do. Story in the pyramids, no politics for that one, so I don't have people on there looking for politics and then being upset with me, so I'll let them know right up front. But anyway, the second question, the second person that they wanted me to read on was and this is Tawn again, T-A-W-N. I guess that's how you pronounce it. And it says, will any of the underage girls speak out about Gaetz? So that sounds like a testify, or you know, I guess we could just call it give him up. Well, I bet you they don't. I bet you they get paid off. This is what I would think. I'd be surprised to see them giving him up, even in the cards. But let's see. Will any of the young girls give up Matt Gaetz? Will any of the young girls give up Matt Gaetz? And if they don't, if something doesn't come out, you know he's going to get out of this. He's got so much money behind him and so much stuff being paid off. I hope he don't get out of it, but you know, he may not. He may just not be that important, and his dad may not have that much cojones. I don't know. Everybody keeps saying his dad can get him out of anything. But he was a state senator. He wasn't a senator in Congress in the United States Senate, so maybe his dad don't have the pull that everybody thinks he does. of the young girls turned Matt Gaetz in. Well, even if they threaten to and they know they're coming through, the first card is him walking away. Signifier is him walking away from it. It was the bully just giving up and walking away. And he has to, because they are going to give him up. It looks like this is a town crier. This is information coming out. And that's the influence over this reading. Shows him walking away and truth coming out. And we got the Chariot again. Shows him going. There's a lot of secrets coming out, but the reason looks like he's going to be going is because there's more deeper secrets that he's terrified of coming out. And it is about young women, maybe even younger than, everybody keeps saying 16, 17. Before, if they dove really deep, I think it would go deeper than that. I think it would go younger than that from this card. For me, a lot of times this is a purity card. And also a yes card. So yes, they're going to come out. Here's the jail card again. And this is in the near future. This is in the 6th house. So something might be coming out that could actually put his ass in jail. I'm really surprised when I read these cards. I'm not looking for him like that. It looks like he's already wondering how he's going to juggle this. And juggle the money behind it so they can't trace it some way. What hasn't already been traced. Let's move this out of my nose. He thinks he might be able to buy off a judge. That's the people around him. His dad's told him that, I don't know, they've talked about this in depth, and he's talking about somebody maybe he could buy off in power. And his hopes and fears, his hopes were that Trump could get him out of this. But Trump can't get him out of this because he's no longer president. Unless he's got a pocket pardon that probably wouldn't go through anyway. And this came out upside down, and it's a 9 of Wands, which could be a jail card. So what I'm going to say, even though I got the yes card at the top, I'm going to go back through these. But it looks like if he's not careful, that he could I'm messing with my mind. That he could definitely end up in jail. So I'm going to draw one more clarifier on it. And that's the Queen of Swords. That's the truth coming through. Yeah. You know, from looking at these cards, it looks to me like it'd be hard for him to stay the fuck out. To stay the frap out of jail. And like I say, every time I read these cards lately, I'm not expecting what comes out. And it's coming out that all these guys get caught. And yet I think politically that they'll let a lot of the big ones go and grab the small ones on some of this stuff. But anyway, that's just my feeling about it, because that's how our government works. That's why they're already backing off on this tax hike on the millionaires. That is so stupid. 35% was still the lowest that it had been in ages when Donald Trump dropped it down to, I think, 21%. Joe Biden only pushed it up to 28%, from what I understand. And now he's already sent his minions out, the ones he used to work with from Delaware, to put out the deal like, well, they were going to have to go down because the Republicans or something. And I was trying to think of that man. This is a Democratic senator from from the state from Delaware. And he's like Biden's right-hand man, so he's putting, it's like the Democrats push something out of there. They get a little bit of pushback, which they shouldn't even worry about at all. They should just go and push right back on the media, but they don't. But if they don't want to really do anything or really change anything, because what Bush did was go in, or Obama did, Bush lowered taxes, but they were just for a certain amount of time, and when Obama was in there, he went ahead and passed the deal and just made it permanent. So that's what's going to end up with these. They're going to mess around and put them back down just a few points, and then mark my word, unless there's a big change in the way things are going there now, it's going to be put through permanent, and it's going to still be low. But anyway, that's just my feeling. But who were we reading about? We were reading about Matt Gaetz and his girlfriend. I'm sorry, I got off in the wrong direction there, like I always do, and I thought my head starts getting wrapped around politics. But we got the bully walking away because of the news coming out and leaving in a hurry. Excuse me, but that's going to quit in just a minute, I think. Leaving in a hurry. Because they know there's a lot of secrets coming out, and this is upside down. That's why they want to leave in a hurry. They don't want this card to turn over if they start pressing this and get the secrets really revealed what was going on. And here's a yes card, that he will be leaving before the election. To keep his ass out of jail. Himself, he's trying to figure out how he's going to manipulate this. But he don't have enough to pay off all the judges and everybody combined. He don't have Trump behind him. This card's upside down. That was a miscalculation when he was pulling all this crap. He's not careful, he could be in jail, and this says yes, he could be. So it looks like very definitely that he could be gone way before the next election. So that's on Gaetz, and I imagine that's not much different than everybody else has been pulling. I didn't even watch anything recently because I just didn't want to, I don't know. Seems like everybody's read on some of this stuff to death, so I just went back through the questions. Took a couple of days away from the TV and went back through the questions. And that's not true. I took a couple of days away from the news, not the TV. I don't know if you guys ever watched that Greenleaf series, but I got so enthused in that I was binge watching it, and I finally just had to tell myself, no, it's over, quit. It's not over, but I'm not going to watch more than 2 of them an evening. Well, maybe 3 of them, because they're only, I think, about 40 minutes long. But I didn't realize when I first started watching it that it was like 3 or 4 years of it. I thought it was just like a book or something, that it might be about 16 bills of it, and I thought, oh, I'll just do that this weekend and get my mind off politics. Well, I got so deep into it, I was up till 3 in the morning, 3 nights in a row, so I didn't feel like doing nothing. So that's like taking a trip and never leaving the farm. And that's exactly what I don't need to be doing. I need to be walking every chance that I'm not asleep. So the next question I had here is, well, that kind of answered 2 of them there. Somebody wants to know about Mitch McConnell. Same girl, Tawn, T-A-W-N. I only heard one other girl ever named that, and it was a friend of mine's sister was named Tawn. But I'm sure there's a lot of people named Tom, but I never knew any. There's a lot of people I never knew. So, let's see. Will Mitch McConnell leave Congress before the next election? And that would be the midterms. So, is Mitch McConnell going to leave before the midterms? Will Mitch McConnell leave before the midterms? Oh, this feels so good to be back doing this. Will Mitch McConnell leave before the midterms? I almost feel like I'm shooting dice. Shooting craps here. Will Mitch McConnell leave before the midterms? Will Mitch McConnell leave before the midterms? No, I don't need to shuffle again. I'm dropping my cut. Will Mitch McConnell leave before the midterms? That was a nice thick shuffle. Let's see what's going on there. Well, the sun's going out. Does that mean the life force? Well, maybe not. I'm going to turn these around since the next two are facing... Nope. I'm not going to turn it around. These cards are all going different directions, so I'm going to respect it. So, yeah, his sun's going out before the midterms. So, it's not the death card. Maybe he just won't be so shiny. I don't know if some of this stuff he's been talking about is going to hurt them when it comes to donations or what, but it's funny that it shows his sun going out and then shows his popularity otherwise going out, and then have a donation card given to the poor, whatever, like he ever gave to the poor, whatever. And so it's something to do with money coming in to fund the Republican Party. So they might even want him out of there if you don't quit talking. Because there's some secrets coming out about him. And this card's straight up. That's the foundation of the reading, the secrets coming out. Howling at the moon, being two-faced. He knows this is coming out. I don't know if it's about his health or what. I don't see any health card here, but he knows it's coming out. He's trying to figure out what he's going to do about it. That's the fourth house, and it's what's going on the present on this reading. Him feeling like he's gridlocked. He's definitely not getting any sleep at night, and it's heavier than just losing regular. It's to the point of depression. Maybe he's worried about the judges, you know. They were talking about pulling in some different Supreme Court judges or something. But maybe he's trying to figure out if he's got the health and energy to fight it, because this looks like something to do with judges. He knows he has to go away. Now, I don't know if this is because he's caught in something he shouldn't be, or it's because of his health. But this is the seventh house. This is him. And it shows him going away to smoother waters, so it shows him leaving Congress. Some of these questions they ask, I think, well, everybody knows that's not going to happen, but I'm glad I'm reading on it. What's going on around him is, does everybody quit supporting the Republican Party, or is this his personal money drawing up? Something comes out that cuts his money off. I'm not sure what that's going to be. There's two money cut-off cards here, right around him, right next to him. And he's worried about this already. This is in the hopes and fears. Got the Three of Swords, the broken heart. And then we got the Nine of Swords, and that's not him charging in, that's him charging out. But there's still no death cards. This could be a sickness card because it's upside down, but this is more mental, especially when it's upside down and where it's placed in here. I'm going to draw one more as a clarifier on there. Total new beginnings. He either gets out of there because he's so sick he's about ready to transition, or either he leaves because he wants total new beginnings so he has time to do something before he leaves this earth. And I'm pretty sure that's what's going on in his head. He knows he's done all he can do. We got the frozen 9 here on top of this Fool card. He knows he's done all he can do. He knows he can't do any more. So that's what's going on there. And I don't know why it looks so dark in here. It's either looks dark or light. There's no in between for these lights. So I'm going to try turning this up a little bit. It looks like it's maybe up all the way already. Maybe it's down all the way. No, I guess it was up all the way already. Anyway, maybe it won't be as dark on camera as it is sitting here doing this. When I started, I had some light coming in through the windows, and now there's no more light coming in. But I can still see the cards good. So that's what's going on with Mitch McConnell. I don't think there is any bottom or top on this. I think everything's just shifted. I'm going to say that that's the top. So we'll put them back in line. It's kind of neat having them upside down each way. I used to read cards like that all the time. I really paid a lot of attention, but that's because I was reading one-on-one, and I just put the cards all out on the table and make a circle out of them and just move them around and have them draw 17 cards off of it, whoever I was reading for. And they drew them and stacked them, and I went by how they were stacked, whether they were upright or not. That's how I read cards for 50 years before I started doing it, drawing them myself. So now I got to be careful to try to keep them all straight. So, who else? Patricia Ray. Patricia Ray. She's always a loyal watcher. She's always right back. And she wants to know if Oklahoma's going to go blue or not. And she asked whether it be in the midterms or by the next election. I personally feel like there's no way that almost nothing could happen to make it go blue by the next election. Oklahoma's a lot stronger red than Texas is. But I'm going to ask the question, Patricia. So will Oklahoma go blue by the next presidential election? Let's give it a few years, because I can already tell you there's no way it's going to go blue by the midterms. But will Oklahoma go blue by the next presidential election? By the next presidential election. Next presidential election. Will Oklahoma go blue by the next presidential election? Will Oklahoma go blue by the next presidential election? Will Oklahoma go blue by the next presidential election? Will Oklahoma go blue by the next presidential election? Well, we got the White House. I hope that is the White House. For sure not going blue. But the signifier is the White House. That's not what I asked. Will Oklahoma go blue by the next presidential election? I think we'll just do this really short. We'll put this up here. Past influence, the White House. The present influence is messaging. And somebody's not getting a good messaging out in Oklahoma. And it's more than likely the Democrats, they don't get good messaging out anywhere, even when they've got all the ability to do it. They need to go into these corporate news shows and tell them you need to start asking the right questions or we're not coming back in here for anything anymore. And they're in power, so they'd start asking the right questions. But they don't want the right questions asked, then they're going to be in a world of shit. But anyway, we got in the present, no. The wrong information is going out. The challenge is going to be, and this may turn more than we realize, Blue, I don't know how bad it could possibly be. And there's so many idiots out there. If it was just proven on film and talk and records and recordings treason, I don't think anybody, half of the people on this fascist train wouldn't get off. But this is Russia. The challenge in this is Russia. There's more coming out. A lot more coming out on the connection to Russia in our last two elections and that stuff at the Capitol. And it may turn some states blue that we never dreamed would. There's talk going on deep in the Pentagon, deep in the president, whatever, the current president and stuff. There's plans being made how much of this to let out and how much not to let out of what's going on and what happened in the last 4 years and actually longer, what's been going on. So I don't know. It's still, it looks like there's more information. It looks like the way it is now, in the past, less than likely. There is information coming out that might turn it a little bluer, and this information's to do with Russia. Maybe they just don't like Russians in Oklahoma. And there's already some plans being made to cover some of this information that's coming out up. Now I wasn't even looking for this, but these cards are leading in a different direction. This is something to do with how far these ties go back with the family, with some of the prominent Republican families and unprominent ones. I keep thinking of the Trumps for some reason when I seen that. Anyway, it doesn't look like it. I would say no. I would say no. There's no way. And this is from Gail Swift. And she asked a question that I don't even know anything about. I wasn't aware that there was sealed indictments still in the Mueller report. I mean, there was innuendos and stuff going around about them, but I don't remember hearing for real that there was sealed indictments in that report. Maybe there was, but I thought most of those were sent off to the New York and stuff, so Trump couldn't pardon himself on that. I don't know, but Gail Swift wants to know, will the indictments from the Mueller report be unsealed and arrests made? Well, that's a good question. That's a good question because I like reading on something I don't know nothing about. I remember there were some things on there that they sent off, but I didn't think they were sealed indictments, but they could have been. So will the sealed indictments from the Mueller report be unsealed and arrests made? That sounds kind of like a yes or no question, but let's pull some cards on it and see what comes up. Let's pull a regular cross on it and see what happens. Will the indictments from the Mueller report be unsealed and people arrested? That's a lot of questions for one thing. Anyway, let's see. And this is my last one for this one. I don't want to make this any longer and hold people up. Well, there's some kind of contracts. I tried to bury that a couple of times, even the way I shuffled it, and it still comes back up. So there's something going on there. One more shuffle. Sealed indictments. Well, there's some strength coming through. So whatever happens, this is well thought out. This is your feminine energy. This is the top chakras. This is the brain, the heart, the soul. So there's the strength. So they may have to bring some of them through if there was, just to keep the strength of our nation going. The thing would be to figure out which ones were important and which ones weren't. And I don't, from seeing all these different choices, I can't see all of them coming out. I think that's saying which ones. There's so many. How could we start? We don't have that much time to go through all this stuff. It looks like, yes, they will be exposed. I would say yes. If there's indictments, yes. They're going to come out. It's going to be about money, looking like it just fell from the sky. We got the Chariot on the top, so it looks like maybe they already got their hands on them and they're trying to figure out what to do with it. It's because they haven't came out yet, and they should be out. They know a lot of people are going to be in a lot of trouble quickly if these come out. They're just trying to keep things moving smooth and looking good for Joe Biden. That's they don't want to rock the boat. They're trying to figure out how they can do this without rocking the boat and not bring them all out. It's going to go way back if they do. They did a deeper dive than they thought they did, and it's going to go back to connections way back. Maybe as soon as I turned that over, I thought about Epstein, something to do with Epstein and his little deal. And they're going to keep all that stuff buried because there's too many important rich people involved in that. There was a lot of money. We got the King of Pentacles here that held them back as long as they did. Was money and pressure. The hopes and fears is the Magician. There is people sweating this. There is people sweating this, and they think maybe their time's ran out. That's cards upside down. And the decision hasn't been made yet. So it looks like, I would say, a lot of information, so much that they don't even know what to do with it. They know it should be exposed. It's about money changing hands. They're holding it up. They're afraid to put the nation back a notch, and Biden's popularity, not so much as popularity, but put the emphasis on the news and stuff where it shouldn't be, which is a bunch of bullshit. It should be where truth is. And it's going clear back to childhood, and I think that's back to the Trumps and the bars and Epstein and all that kind of crap's in there somewhere. A lot of money changed hands. They don't have the magic they used to keep this all covered up, but our government at this time still hasn't figured out what to do with them, so I don't think that question could be answered yet. So anyway, I love you all. And I think I'm going to come back and do another reading on the pyramids here in a few minutes after I turn this off. And I think I'm going to do 2 of them and then put 2 out tonight. And I might tell that story everybody's asking me to tell. I don't know. If I do it, I'll just put it right on there. It's just pyramids and a story. No politics, so people don't watch it looking for me to read the cards on something, whatever. So I'll label it so they're not disappointed. So anyway, love you all, and I want to thank you for following along if you're still here, and I just want to thank you for all your support and help and donations. Thank you for everything. Namaste.